So very quick video hopefully to show a Blackmagic design external GPU working with a ThinkPad Lenovo P1 Gen 3. The Blackmagic design external graphics unit is bought from Apple. It's meant for use with MacBooks or I guess Mac desktops that don't have quite the graphics processing, but equally it works with Windows laptops. The reason that we're using it is the company I work for has purchased significant number of well-spec'd ThinkPads, Lenovo's, and but they just aren't, in terms of graphics, they can't run virtual reality. So as a solution, we're suggesting that we're testing the idea of buying external graphics units and running VR through the graphics unit. Means that we don't have to purchase any additional software. We don't need any extra licenses. They are relatively portable. You can see yourself. I can turn it around with one hand. It's significantly smaller than a desktop computer. And this one has a Radeon 580X, Radeon Pro 580X graphics card in it with 8 gigs graphics. So you can see here, I've pulled open the task manager. Actually, I'll switch to share screen. Okay, so now that we're sharing screen, I can tell you the process for getting this eGPU working on the laptop. So basically, I shut down the entire laptop and plugged in the GPU, and then turned on the laptop. When I did that, I found that when I went into my my display adapters, that it did recognize that something was plugged in, but it wasn't functional. So what I just had to do then was go to the Radeon AMD website and install Radeon Pro software for enterprise onto my laptop. So I just downloaded from this website. I'll put a link to it in the post. Once I downloaded it and installed it, it instantly recognized that there was a GPU plugged in. This shows the GPU. So as you can see, my laptop has the integrated graphics card. It also has a separate graphics card. And now through the Thunderbolt, it's got the Radeon Pro 580X graphics card with the 8 gigabytes of dedicated GPU memory. So after I did that, I thought it could be worth having it could be worth just doing a quick benchmark testing. So after running a benchmark test through the Nova benchmark, obviously this benchmark score is based on my CPU and GPU. It states that it's got the Quadro as the GPU, but in reality, when it was doing the test, I could see that it was testing it with the Radeon graphics card, and that pulled out a score of 539, which I know for a fact that my other graphics card wouldn't get that kind of score. Just to show then, I thought it would be interesting to compare that to using the Nova benchmark chart. I can find the Radeon Pro 580X, and you can see that in a desktop computer where it's integrated as part of the motherboard, it would get a score of 580. I'm getting a score of 539, which in my opinion is actually quite good, given that it's plugged in through the Thunderbolt, and that would obviously affect the performance. Now I mentioned that I use this for VR. My background is architecture, so when if you're familiar with any previous posts, I talked about using a iPad to create a point cloud, putting that point cloud into Revit, and then moving that into Revizto.
So I'll just show what can be done as well. So this is Revizto with a point cloud there's a couple of different apps that can do the scan. So I've scanned the same room twice. I'll do another video where I show how this looks in Revizto. I'll open this in VR on the headset and just we can have a look around and you can see how it performs and how actually a point cloud looks through Revizto in VR, albeit a very basic model.
Okay, so I've basically, you saw what I did. I've got the eGPU working on my laptop. All I've done is plug in my Oculus Quest into the back of the eGPU. It equally works to plug it into a separate USB-C port, but in this case I'm just going to use the USB-C in the back of the eGPU. I'm going to click Oculus Link. I have already got Revizto VR up and running, so I'm just going to open it, and straight away you can see that this is the model we were looking at previously. So you can see the walls that I've modelled, and the 2 point clouds. So I'll just go into it quickly. You can see this is the point cloud, and this is how the room. It was quite a small meeting room, so this is very accurate to how it actually was. And you can even see what was on some of the posters on the walls. So I'll just go into the next one. So that was the Sitescape app. And I'll go into the other one, where you can see that I've tried to make my walls modelled as best match, which in this case is very close to, it's actually possibly over the line slightly. And actually I probably could have gone a little bit further. So you can see this is actually very easy to check how good my modelling was when I was modelling these walls. And there's the desk and the chairs. Desk hasn't come out looking totally flat, but still, nevertheless, it's quite good. Equally, I should point out that this point cloud, things have moved on a little bit since I did this. 3D Scanner app have made it that you can export directly to Revit, I think, or directly to at least to Recap. Also, I should point out that you can export OBJ files and import OBJ files into Revizto, which I will maybe make a video of that as well. But that's all. Thank you. Next, I'll do a quick test in Enscape using the eGPU with the Enscape sample model, and you can see how it performs. I'll step into the Enscape model. So this is the Enscape with their latest sample model. So you can see the trees come in animated, but as you can see as I look around, generally the graphics are a little bit glitchy. The Radeon Pro is really starting to struggle to run this at an acceptable frames per second. Let's just have a bit of a walk. You can see how it's a little bit jittery. It's actually probably not good enough for general use to be completely harsh about it. But if I zip over there and I go up, you can see how moving around is really jittery. And also anyone who's familiar with VR will have noticed that screen doors are a bit of an issue, and as I turn my head around you can see how there's the black bands are not loading quite as fast as they need to. So as I walk around, it's the graphics are okay. It's polishing up pretty quickly, but as I turn my head around, you can see little glitching outs, and generally not as good as you'd want it to be. In terms of this model, though, it's nicely materialized. If I go down to the living room, actually this is missing a bit of the materializing. I think I've put this on draft settings, so this is probably on the lowest setting. I'll just double check that quickly by going to the Enscape model, and I should be able to check the quality. Bump that up to ultra. You have a look around, you can see how badly the bands and the loading and the glitching gets. So generally this GPU just isn't quite up to it. But in general, it's I guess as a starter into VR space, it's probably about as low cost as you can get. Thank you.